This episode of Vic's Basement is brought to you by Sony and the PlayStation 4, which comes out November 15th. Greatness awaits, and I can't wait for mine. Welcome to my basement, everybody, especially Mr. Scott C. Jones.
Oh, that was so warm and heartfelt. Everything you do is pretty warm and pretty heartfelt, my friend.
I have a lot of heart, man.
Now, listen, you just came from the airport. You've been a traveling fool. And
I live on two coasts now, man.
So you were in
I'm
New
like
York.
you, how you used to be.
I know. So you were in New York.
I was in New York for about 5 minutes. I went to an Apple iPad Air briefing where I was shown the best technology demo I've ever had.
Is it briefing or is it brainwashing? What are they?
No, because here's what I recognized when they actually sat. I mean, obviously you see all this stuff in little video snippets here and there, or you watch the keynote or whatever. But when I sat down with these three guys that work at Apple on the apps and the software integration, and you can see in their eyes that they stay up super late to kind of conceive of these tools that people can use in lots of different ways, and they're never happy, they're never satisfied, they're already thinking about what the next thing is going to be, they're already trying to think of the hardware software integration, and that's what I got out of the demo. It was the best use of this technology in a real world setting that I've been demonstrated to me.
What is cool about the new iPad? Because I really don't know.
One of the coolest things that they've done with the Air is, and with the announcement of iOS 7, so this is true with any of the iOS apps that you've got. So all of your phones or whatever, you get all of the iWork apps for free, GarageBand and Numbers and Pages and all of these different things. And one of the things that they showed was iPhoto, and all of this stuff is pretty cool. GarageBand on the 64-bit processor of whether it's the 5S or whether it's the iPad Air, lets you, the A7 chip, the new one that they have, lets you put 32 tracks of music into the thing. So you can just keep recording stuff and putting all kinds of MIDI kinds of sounds and loops and stuff in there. So you can create like studio quality stuff on this iPad now, which is
getting
crazy.
Pretty boring.
All right, I know, but that was
the exciting
impressive.
Stuff.
The exciting stuff was in the photo
oh my God!
material.
Really?
Because
why?
Listen to me. I mean, I just reviewed that damn camera on the show, the X100S, which I like. This is all
beautiful camera,
like droid numbers and letters right now. Doesn't it feel like
very foreign language you're speaking?
Okay, but anyways, they showed me the iPhoto. You're gonna like this, okay?
A7,
so
iPhoto, 5S.
They showed me all of these different photo things and this functionality and the filters and all the yas. And then they said, and then all you can do, you know how you always find these photos that you love, and then you think, okay, I'm going to lose them in this digital stream, and I'm never going to see them again.
Get lost,
Well, you just press this button, and they went boop, boop, boop. I'm adding the sounds for effect, but they pressed the buttons, and then they said you can print up anything, including your panoramas, and then it costs like $6. And then they pull off this panorama that was, currently on the screen in front of me, and in paper form, and it's this beautiful photograph of the.
Where does it come from? From the iPad?
No, but
comes right out of the end of the iPad.
You order it from Apple. It's all seamlessly integrated.
Mail?
And they mail it to you. Yeah, but that's the thing. That was the thing that amazed me is that they're thinking about it in a life, not just. Look at all the whiz-bang, all the gadgets, all of the doodads and functionality of this thing, and all the numbers and buzzwords we can throw at you. You can print your cool photos as easy as you can press this button.
$6 a pop, though.
For a giant panorama.
So how much is a small one?
They were like
$4?
$2 or something like that. But
so
it wasn't
postage?
Probably. I'm sure it's affordable.
I'm just trying to do some math here.
And the other thing that they showed was the book and the iPad Air. They've been doing photo books in iPhoto for a long time, but the iPad Air's processing is really super fast, and they just pressed a couple buttons and it auto-formatted this book, and then they took the book off the shelf and they showed me, here's a photo book that was designed on your... And that's the crap that I keep missing when I see other tablets and other phones. Like we had I don't want to start dogging any other companies out there, but I think we forget that these things are built so that we integrate them into our world and use them in ways that are, beneficial to us, not just, cool things sort of lighting up and blinking and witty little tweets and texts and stuff out there, that there's actually some emotional benefit to using some of these cool applications and these cool things that these things can do. And that was what was shown to me, and I was really impressed. I walked away really impressed. And the thing that I didn't ask, because all of that stuff was shown to me, I didn't ask my my usual, but what about games? Where's my controller question? Because they've unlocked the iOS 7 controller for the thing. I realized that Apple's thinking about a lot of stuff. They're thinking about a lot of things to help with all of this stuff. Now, I do agree that sometimes we're too digital with all of these confections all over the place, and that we need a little more time to be analog, but they thought of some analog stuff there, and that's what impressed me about the iPad Air so much.
Just let me know when we're done.
We're done. That's it.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, dude.
My God.
You asked a question. I asked it.
All right.
I answered as concisely as I could.
None of it sounds very exciting.
Well,
I wasn't there. I didn't see the printout.
No, okay.
I didn't see your photo book appearing on the shelf.
You didn't see the faces of the guys.
I just don't get
that were thinking about this
who
crap.
cares about their fucking faces? I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to swear anymore.
No,
who cares about their faces? They're asking $800 for this thing or whatever the hell it is.
Sure.
It's got an A7 chip in it, and it has all the iWork stuff in it, and you can print out photos. I just don't even care. Like, it's exhausting. Like, I just gave you $800. Why can't my old iPad do this stuff?
It can.
Come on.
It can do all of that
All right,
stuff.
I don't need the A7 processor. Maybe if I haven't bought...
And you know what? They're acutely aware of that. And they're...
I don't know if they are. I think they're flying up their own butts.
Well, they're trying to sell. They're trying to sell new stuff all the time, for sure.
Well, good for them.
But they're also not resting on their laurels. I mean,
it feels like they might be resting on.
No, this hardware is... Yeah, we're not reviewing it right now.
Needle moving again. I haven't seen it.
iPad Mini last year was needle moving.
I love my iPad Mini.
It totally changed everything, didn't it?
It was needle moving.
Sure it was.
But
it made us move from this idea of...
This new Air looks big. I've seen it on your desk. It's huge.
It's big compared to a Mini.
Yeah.
It's a pound. It's light.
I don't want that.
It's much lighter than the previous ones have been. Anyways, we're going to review it on the show, but I was very impressed, and I can't wait to see
the new iPad make Cheers on Netflix more entertaining? No, it does not, sir.
Yes, it does.
It does not, sir.
And bigger.
I don't need to see...
comics are going to be bigger again.
I don't need to see the follicles on Sam Malone's neck. That is not necessary for me.
All right. Well, I was only in New York for 5 minutes. I did have some Pizza Suprema.
Just so you could have some Pizza Suprema.
I had some Pizza Suprema as
31st
soon as we landed.
And 8th Avenue.
That's right.
You try the rest, try the best. Go to Pizzeria Suprema. They deliver until midnight every night. Pick up a menu.
And you know what? The guy that was serving the pizza, we started talking about Canada and the West Coast, and he had never been out there at all. And he said, I don't want to go to California. I worry about the earthquakes.
Oh,
don't you worry about the earthquakes? It's like, yeah, I guess
funny.
If that, maybe the 1 in a trillion chance that you're going to be there on the day they have that earthquake.
Yeah. Oh my God, that pizza's the best.
The pizza was amazing.
We're going to be in New York again next week.
I know.
And guess where we're going? Pizzeria Suprema, 31st Street and 8th Avenue. Today's podcast brought to you by the PlayStation 4.
Oh, nice switch up there.
And Pizzeria Suprema. Now, Pizzeria Suprema has done nothing except charge me a different price every time I go in there for the same order. This time it's $12.81. Next time it's $13.42.
Hey, but rewind for a second there. PlayStation 4 comes out on November 15th. We have it. We have it.
We have one.
We have one.
You have one.
I have one.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. So I have an iPad Air and a PlayStation 4.
Why are you even here talking to me?
It's raining hardware in Vic's basement.
I have nothing, and I'm okay with that.
No, you're staying over in the basement.
I'm
we're going to play with
there.
this stuff.
No, I'm packing. I'm going to New York. I've got plans. I don't want to go
next
over
week we're going to New York for the PlayStation 4
What am I going to do? Come over and
launch?
play Killzone at your house?
Absolutely. We're going to have fun, man. Pajama party.
Dream come true.
Does everybody else want to come over? We'll all come out and hang and around a PlayStation 4.
All right, so the PlayStation 4 is finally here. I pre-ordered one. I'm flying to New York, and then we come back. Anyway, I don't want to tell everyone our travel schedule.
Yeah.
I'll be picking up mine soon.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll be able to bring it. I don't really know what any of this stuff's worth until I get it in my home, until I'm in bed.
I know.
With my iPad, watching Cheers.
Where do you see the iPad Air and the size
I
of
really
the
don't care.
It's
honestly,
impressive.
I couldn't
but anyways,
care less.
PS4 is here.
Yes, it is here.
We're starting to see the next-gen games filter in. We're starting to get our hands and touch them and put them into our eyeballs, as you like to say. And the other thing that I did after New York is I flew to Toronto on the same day.
You played a lot of Xbox games.
And I was on Xbox One for the whole night, and it was great. It was my first sort of just sit back and jump into these titles for a little while.
Again, I can't do it in an event like that. I have to bring it home.
I just shut everybody out.
It's got to be in my home.
And you know what? This was it
and
wasn't.
you're sitting next to Jeff Keighley. He's nattering away.
No, but this wasn't packed. It was a nice event. There was maybe 25 other, Canadian journalists there when I was there for most of it.
Was Kirby there?
No, Kirby wasn't there. Maybe he was on his way.
Was Blaine
Maybe
Kylo there?
Blaine was there, yeah.
What the? They only had room in the.
Tilly, Raju Mudar.
They had room in the boat for just you. That's it. I didn't get to go.
Sean and Marissa were there.
What about me? What am I? Chopped liver?
Yeah, I guess they forgot about you.
Yeah, apparently Microsoft does not care.
Yeah, well, there you go.
About Scott Jones.
You heard it here
That's
first.
That's okay. I still care about the Xbox One, maybe a little bit less after being slighted once again by a company. That's okay.
I mean, we did need you to hold down the fort in the studio.
I guess I had stuff to do here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I mean, we do make daily TV.
But you had fun. You enjoyed the launch titles.
I
did.
Play them all?
I was all of them? Did you play Rise?
Almost every single one.
Can you give me a thumbs up or thumbs down so people can't hear it on the... I can see it, but they can't.
I don't know enough about Rise.
It's going to be a thumbs up. It's going to be a thumbs up.
It's beautiful, and it was fun. You know what Rise feels like to me? And this is just an early kind of stab at it, no pun intended. Batman fused with God of War. A little bit of that kind of, Batman has become a very influential title in the industry, and you can feel that. They have a lot of that, counter fighting in a crowd kind of thing. It gets very violent. You can hack off limbs and stuff. It looks great. But the game that blew me away to play was Dead Rising 3. I mean, it's candy. It's so easy and effortless to have fun in there. You jump into the thing. You're combining weapons. You combine vehicles. You can stand next to a giant... what are those, street roller type things? And
steamroller.
A steamroller and a motorcycle, and then you create
roller
this
hog.
Yeah, awesome. And you're shooting fire, and I put on this this sort of mecha lizard suit thing with Wolverine claws, and I could spit fire out of my mouth.
All right.
And I was burning zombies left, right, and center. And they have this crazy lighting too. You go into these tunnels and stuff, and it's completely pitch black.
I always play games for the lighting.
Oh, but it was beautiful. It was really cool because it's creepy, and there's a million zombies, so you can't see anything.
It's like a million zombies, guys.
Million zombies.
Millions of zombies.
And then the lights go on because you're shooting fire out of your mouth, and zombie burning everywhere.
Wow. Call of Duty Ghosts is out.
Yep.
And the world has received it. You and I are playing it.
Yep.
And our review will air very, very soon. We've just been overwhelmed with travel.
This is insanity.
And it's never been this way before. In the 10 years that I've been doing this and the 20 years you've been doing it, there's never been a stretch like this before. And then after November 22nd, lights go out again. The year's over.
We get to just lose ourselves in the multiplayer parts of all of these games.
Well,
but this is the game flood, man. This is and it's times 10. I've never seen it like this before.
It's not that bad.
No, because of all the next gen and all the bigger
titles. It's not that much next gen. Like there's 5 Xbox One titles and 2 PS4 titles.
There is.
So that's 7.
If you count in the downloadable stuff and the like
small.
Killer Instinct, they're going to have a demo of the wave racing portion of the Kinect sports thing, which I know from Rare, which sounds a little bit crazy, but the wave racing was beautiful, and I really wanted the controller. It was beautiful, and it stood out against all of the other titles, all of the killing and death and maiming and gore and blood. Here was this beautiful, 1080p, gorgeous, sumptuous, colorful, cartoony wave racing thing with awesome wave physics from Rare. But you can't play it on a controller.
Rare hasn't been Rare in 15 years.
You got to play it with the Kinect. But it is better.
Yeah.
It was absolutely better. I could feel it right away. And the other cool thing that really stood out was Zoo Tycoon, which is also a launch title, which I know it sounds insane, but you're crafting a zoo and feeding your animals.
God, you're really bringing me down over here. Zoo Tycoon and a Rare racing game.
It was good. It was good. I was like,
come on.
I'm looking at it through the vantage point of my daughter, who in a few years will be playing stuff like this.
Come on.
And you feed the giraffes and you spray the elephants with water.
I don't want to do that.
It was cool, man.
All right.
It was cool. I was
first the iPad, you're bringing me down.
I'm sorry.
Now this, Jesus. I woke up
Dead Rising was fun.
I woke up
Call
this morning.
Call of Duty doesn't look that much better than it does on the 360.
I woke up this morning angry as hell.
About what?
So angry, and I'm embarrassed to even tell you.
What happened?
I was thinking about the fact that The Last of Us, which I loved, which is perfect, which is so beautiful.
Yes, I think it's the game of the year.
Last of Us has multiplayer in it.
Yeah, it does.
This is what's wrong with our industry. Why do we have multiplayer in this beautiful, hermetically sealed, narrative, beautiful world filled with rich characters? let's create a component where we can all shoot each other in the ass.
Yeah.
So silly. This is what's wrong, like so wrong-headed. Like, understand the core spirit. I'm in one of my moods today. I know. I understand the core spirit of what you're creating. And create stuff that is true to that and that honors it.
This is Scott's rant.
I don't know why. This game has been out for 5 months now, and I've never played 1 second of the multiplayer. I'll be honest with you. I have no interest in it. In fact, if there's a way for me to erase it from the disc, I would erase it gladly, sir.
Yeah.
And it makes me mad. And I don't feel as mad about the Batman multiplayer.
Yeah.
You haven't played it yet.
I can't get on. I keep trying to get online.
There's nobody there
on the PS3. I don't know if the other.
The Xbox I got on. I got into a few matches. Yeah,
nobody's playing it online on the PS3.
It's a little silly, but it just reminds me of BioShock 2 with that silly multiplayer.
Games
component.
as service is the way that the business is kind of reacting to this Call of Duty-ized version of the industry, and also all of this free-to-play stuff. Everybody's trying to just capture an audience forever and ever and find ways to sell them little bits of more game. And it's dangerous. It is. It's a slippery slope.
Well, then we start moving away from art.
Well, we move away from art and we move away from choice because people get sucked into this idea that they have to level up forever in these titles that they've invested $60 in, and they want to wring every last ounce of value out of these things. And then what that really sucks away is the time that people have to experiment and to try different things, and.
It's such a weird thing to be mad about multiplayer and The Last of Us.
I mean, I think it comes from a place
Why am I so weird?
But we all want the business to be better, including the developers. All of us want it to be better and stronger.
Yeah, and there just feels like there's this standard issue checklist now.
Yeah.
Your game needs to do this. It needs to have this. It needs to have 6 hours to 8 hours of single player. It needs to have multiplayer. You need to be able to level up.
Well, you remind me of this all the time, is that we are going through constant change in this business.
But this phase we've been stuck in for a couple years now.
Well, it's worrisome for sure, and it's because of the apple cart being turned over by the iPad and the iPhone coming in and all of this free-to-play and iOS, 99-cent stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's really getting on my nerves about all that stuff is that a lot of those developers that chase these free-to-play models that look for these, they call them the whales, these guys that or these players out there that get hooked on these things and spend tons of dough on it.
$10,000, $15,000.
Yeah, and some of these games make $5 million a day. I mean, not too many of them. Lots of them make hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, which is a ton of money. I don't want to see that money just be going right back into more sort of gambling-esque addictive games like this that are just about generating X number of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a day as the model. Like, that's the only thing that these people are going to build.
Sort of Pavlovian game design.
Let's switch some of that. Let's spend some of that dough on art. Let's take some risks. But at the same time, let's make art that reaches a lot of people. Like, this is a powerful industry with a powerful medium with a lot of value for a lot of people. Let's try to build stuff that people will accept and appreciate. And,
I think that's a rare thing. That's a tall order. I think it's hard to build stuff now at a time when we've gotten so used to having our individual tastes catered to by the internet, by cable TV that has 600 channels. Everybody can find even Breaking Bad, which seems like it's the biggest thing I can think of pop culture-wise. In 2013, I think probably at its peak it had like 6 million viewers. Like, compare that with Friends at its peak 15, 20 years ago. They had like 20, 25 million viewers.
Yeah, there's way more.
Like, there's more of a zeitgeist.
There's way more networks of ways to find stuff. We can all find ways
that find things that make us happy. So maybe it's not that one AAA all-encompassing.
But me, I just want more people playing. And I don't want them playing Candy Crush.
I just want to be happy. I don't care what the other people are doing.
Yeah.
I want stuff that's going to stimulate me and stuff that's going to keep my brain working, challenge me, push the idea and definition of what a video game is. I want people to push that. And you know what? I'm playing Call of Duty Ghosts, and I know we haven't reviewed it yet, but that game is not doing any of those things.
No, it's an amusement park ride.
It is an amusement park ride.
But another game that kind of got associated with being a copycat or just more of the same, and it really upset me to read criticism like this because I absolutely refuse to look at it that way.
What? I can't even guess what it is.
Batman Arkham Origins. A lot of people have been dogging this thing.
You've been really down on the bad reviews.
Well, I can't believe that there are...
Even Silverman gave it a 7.
It's the rampant cynicism in the industry around this beautiful Batman tribute, which is what it is.
Well, the question is, did you play it to the end?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the reviewers, and I hate to say this, didn't go far enough because there's so much in there that it feels like a lot of them didn't see.
There are, not just the story campaign, all of the individual enemy campaigns that you have to go, all the stuff that you have to collect. I mean, I'm not going to re-review the damn game. I just think it's a wonderful piece of entertainment.
I love that you take it personally.
I do, because I don't understand what people are finding fault with this game. Yes, it may have some technical issues, but none of these things ever ship without technical issues. You can always find little hiccups and challenges, and the patch has become a common thing, and there's a patch already out for this thing.
Let's get Eric Holmes on the show and talk about it in a couple weeks. Let's let the consoles blow over.
Yeah.
Let him let his hot head cool down.
Well, one of the things that I loved the most about this game was the surprise of the new voice cast. Troy Baker was fantastic as the Joker.
Oh, he is the golden boy.
But I also loved that Batman was so damn good, and we have a nice surprise today. In Vic's basement, we actually get Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Batman, to join us. In the basement with us right now is Batman and Captain America and Ezio Auditore. It's Roger Craig Smith. Sir, it is fantastic to have you with us. How are you doing?
I'm stoked to be here. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
And sorry about the smell.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's kind of a given. I mean, I look at you guys and I think smell.
Okay.
So you've got some pretty big shoes to fill here with Fred Conroy's voice.
Kevin Conroy. Yes.
Yeah, who cares about that guy?
Oh, you've already forgotten his old name.
Nobody knows that guy anymore because you have, I think, created one of the most unforgettable portraits of Batman ever. I think Victor would agree.
I think you did an amazing job.
Why are you laughing?
Roger, why are you laughing?
I thought you said forgettable.
No, unforgettable. There was an un in there.
Oh, even better. It's all good.
Yeah, well, how does it feel? Because
it's like repainting the Mona Lisa, only it's even better this time.
Yeah, when we were at Comic-Con this year, I asked you the same thing. I think we probably ran some of this on the show already, but you must have been a tad nervous to step into those boots.
Oh, it goes without saying. I mean, it was, I think we even said at Comic-Con that both Troy and I, when we found out that we had gotten the roles, it was like, yeah, we got him. And then it was, now we got him. This could go a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
No, it was to call it an honor doesn't do it justice, and really the most reassuring aspect of the entire thing was meeting Eric Holmes and working with Amanda Wyatt, our voice director, and having them be so passionate about this, and having Eric, who's just a wealth of information and his passion for this project and the Batman universe is immense, and getting a chance to lean on somebody like that kind of helped take a little bit of pressure off me, because I was able to say, okay, what do you want to do with this character? I mean, we're doing it as a prequel, as an origin story. That could go a lot of different ways. So, what do you have in mind? And that in that way, it was a great sense of relief for me to go, okay, this guy knows what he wants, and we're gonna kind of play around with this character a little bit, but still stay true.
Yeah, he had your back, and he has the backs of geeks, and he's also the geek himself who cannot be stumped. He's got all of the backstory. He knows, the specific issues of character introductions, and he knows the challenge that was ahead of him. He knew what he had to do with this thing was live up to expectation. And, I, for one, feel that was absolutely achieved with Batman Arkham Origins. How do you feel about the finished product? Have you had time to sit down and play the game yet?
I still have yet to actually sit down and put that in and start playing with it. I actually, thankfully fans have already gotten out there and all the cutscenes are on YouTube.
Yes.
So I went through and kind of started scanning through some of the cutscenes, because
they're phenomenal. They did an amazing job.
I'm so glad. I mean, thankfully the fan feedback that Troy and I are seeing, one of the nicest compliments you can have is somebody to say that it sounds like a believable younger Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Which, granted, we were never trying to impersonate Kevin, because you can't do that. But it was, what we were trying to do is stay true to this character of Batman as so many fans have come to know it, and approach it from just a little bit more of a rougher, gruffer, raw, less refined approach. And when fans associate that, Troy said it, I think, in San Diego, where he said, look, there was a point on a horizon with the performances that we wanted these particular performances to be believable, that they could eventually get to that point on the horizon, which was the Hamill and Conroy versions of these characters. And so when people say, hey man, great job, sounds like a more, again, like a raw version of what Kevin Conroy is doing, it's like, great, that was what Eric from the get-go, what Amanda wanted, us to capture, and what I was so nervous about capturing. And thankfully, the fan feedback seems like people are saying that that's what they got, and the cut scenes, thankfully, after seeing them, because I don't get to see them. I'm pleased with what they've created, for sure.
Roger, how easy is it for you to listen to yourself do the work? I mean, could you sit down and get lost in this world, or would you just be kind of pulling apart your own performance? And, in the same way that an actor can't watch him or herself on screen, are you able to, can you play this game or not?
I can, for sure, because that's the neat aspect. I mean, like, truth be told, it's strange to be like interviewed. It's strange to be, going out and doing these cons. It's strange to be a part of that, because I feel like I'm this one element of a production team, but a very small element of it. Because I'm providing the voice, yes, which is, maybe it's interesting in the fact that you can, talk to the voice of a character or shake the hand of a guy who does the voice. But the reality is, I'm not the character. I'm such a small part of that character, and so many other far more creative and talented people are responsible for creating the character of Batman. So at the end, I can pop in the game and start to play, and yeah, I can lose myself in it. And then, of course, there's little elements where I hear the sound of my own voice and I go, oh, God, that was awful. I could have done a better job of that.
Right.
Or because when we're recording, we rarely get a chance to even get a feel for sometimes the pace of a scene. And I was even talking with Amanda about this, saying the difficulty with Batman sometimes is that he's not a very verbose, loquacious guy. He tends to just be kind of Alfred, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Everything's just very short and concise.
All business, yeah.
Exactly. And so sometimes I feel like I want to make sure we're not getting too disconnected from what just happened or is about to happen, that kind of thing. So when I get to finally see it all kind of get pieced together is when, for me as a fan, I get to go in and go, oh, how cool. Look what they did with that. And look how they animated the face and the movements and what the mocap actors did, to kind of sell even more of the anger and that kind of thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, because a lot of what Batman has to say is kind of internal monologue type stuff. He's kind of piecing the mystery together. But one of the things that I definitely pick up on, and Scott brought this up, is that there are moments where you edge close to Bale's animalistic kind of sounds, and that is in keeping with a character that's still trying to discover how much energy to expel. Because I think one of the things about Conroy's Batman is that he creates a Batman that only delivers exactly what he's already figured out he needs to do. And right?
Yeah, it's economy of language, it's economy of emotions, it's economy of energy, I think, with that version.
Yeah.
And this guy, that was that learning element. In fact, we probably pulled back in a lot of ways from where Kevin, and I'm sorry, not Kevin, but from where Eric had wanted to maybe push this guy. We wanted to kind of push it too far to hear us all go, ugh.
Where is he?
Exactly.
Yes.
But we did work with kind of taking into consideration the fact that there's a Bale performance out there that fans know. There was, even going way back to like the Adam West stuff. It's like I've said this, a number of times about the character of Batman kind of lives within a certain little box. And every actor that has ever portrayed him in either animated work or live action, I think everybody's trying to fit within that box. Whether or not they're trying to put their own spin on it, I think it's just, this is how they perceive Batman. But if you start going too far outside of it, it's not the character that we all know. And so we were trying to be mindful of what this character is. And that being said, there were times that we pushed it a little bit to maybe the live action, rendition, and sometimes went, a little too far with it. But yeah, that really is that sort of raw element. I've had a lot of people say, like, why the growl? And it's like, well, if you're trying to be just Bruce Wayne, billionaire playboy, and be intimidating, you want to drop your voice nice and low, and if you're going to project it, really, you can only go so far before it has to get there.
Oh my God, I just got chills, Roger. Listen, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here.
Okay.
We have an old-fashioned answering machine, tape to tape, here down in the basement, and we want you to record are when we're out from the basement message. So I want you to say this in the young Batman voice. You have reached the basement. Victor and Scott are not here right now. They're out fighting crime and pulling some honeys. Leave a message and we'll call you back later. Can you do that?
You've reached the basement. Victor and Scott aren't here right now. They're outside fighting crime and pulling some honeys, whatever that means. So please leave a message after the beep.
What does pulling some honeys mean?
I have no idea.
Dude, that was amazing.
That was so good. I can't believe you did that.
That was amazing. Awkward. Yeah, that was incredible. Pulling some honeys. I guess we could keep
some honey.
That just sounded incredible, so we're keeping it. And, I think that was the achievement of Rocksteady and then Warner Brothers Montreal with the character too. Is the character that we get to play as Batman is the first time in video game form that we actually get to feel like Batman. I think these are the first companies that have really understood what to do, and I guess that's pretty invigorating stuff as an actor to kind of work from, isn't it?
I think so. I think that's why this medium is so fun to be a part of, because you go and you sit in a movie theater and you are sort of detached. You know, you are going along for the ride, but you're witnessing it as like a third party to the ride. And the greatest thing about video games is if they're done really well, you get to control the ride in so many ways. And therefore, I mean, this is what I thought that The Last of Us did such a phenomenal job of.
Totally.
That first 20 minutes, I remember like texting Troy right away going, oh my God, this is the most brilliant way of introducing and of bringing people into this world. You start off as the girl that, I don't want spoiler alert, right? And the game's been out for a while.
It's been 6 months.
Exactly.
Come on, people.
You know, you start off as this character, so you become attached because, again, with video games, you are the girl looking around for dad's phone and seeing notes from dad. Then dad comes bursting in. Next thing you know, you then pull back and you die. And I thought, gut-wrenching. This is so perfect. This is how the world of video games can draw people in. And so, what Rocksteady and what WB Montreal have done with the Batman franchise is created that element where you start to feel a connection to the character, which is exciting. That's what video games are great for.
Yeah, and also significant for the mythology of Batman and for the legacy of Batman. It's really symbolic works. These are, they stand tall with the best that has ever been created and crafted in the Batman fiction universe, whether it's movies or comics or animated shows or whatever. This is top of class stuff, and now
awesome.
You are associated with that, which is
that is the part that I still can't. We've had an opportunity to go out like at San Diego. You sign things, and I have a terrible illegible signature, and then right beneath that you put in quotes Batman, and that's just it's so bizarre. It does not. I can't say that it gets old. I can't get used to it. It's just, and to have, even if this is a one and done opportunity for me in a career, just to have had that chance and to kind of explore this character was really cool. I mean, it's weird once you start kind of getting into something like this. Even with Ezio, it was the same thing. Like you start to feel for these characters, like you have a connection to what it is that they're going through, because you keep trying to hyper focus those bits of performance through a recording session, and as a byproduct, you start to go like, oh, that sucks for this guy, or man, I guess that would really be kind of something that would be torturous to have to deal with as a person.
Yeah, and Ubisoft gave you some nice love with that character as well. Ezio, we got quite a bit with.
Oh, it was crazy! 3 games and a little short film.
I love that short film as well. Is there a sense in the voice acting community? I guess you're mostly around Los Angeles-based actors, but is there a sense now that we're in a golden age for voice acting in video games, and is that sort of the marquee kind of work now for voice actors? Opposed to animated stuff.
Yeah, I think Troy had said that like when he first started, because obviously he's had like massive success in this area.
Yeah,
and he said that a lot of his on-camera friends, when he first got out to the LA area, were kind of like, oh, you're gonna go be a part of your video games, huh? That kind of thing. And now some of those same, on-camera actors are going, dude, how do you break into that? How do you get, how do you become, a Nathan Drake? How do you become, a Joel? Because that stuff is crazy. And really I don't think it's so much as it is like a golden age of voice acting for video games as it's a golden age of storytelling for video games. Now they've figured out a way to incorporate phenomenal writing into this medium that now you are starting to see performances that get elevated as a result. It's not just, it's a me, Mario. It's not cutesy little things that kind of, just add sound effects. It's actual narrative, that moves people. And so I think, I don't know, man. I just consider myself lucky enough to have been in it at a time when these opportunities came our way, and hopefully we won't have too many of the the Beyond Two Souls approach, where just like in animated features, you start getting celebrities that pop in to do all the voice work, and these phenomenally and I don't include myself in this group, but there's a lot of phenomenally talented voice actors that are out there that end up getting the additional voice roles and that kind of thing. Whereas back in the day, it used to be, no, if you want people to have a sense of character, it's another reason why I get nervous doing the voice of Batman in front of people or Ezio, because I don't want you to associate me with this character. Good Lord, I look nothing like these characters.
Well, they kind of made a Batman that has your chin, though. Was that on purpose?
That's a happy accident. That's you know what that is? That's an underbite.
Yeah,
that's my underbite.
I actually think he has your chin, Vic.
Batman has my chin.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. See,
look, Vic is lost now, right?
Oh my God, I can't think of anything.
That was
anymore.
the most seductive thing I've ever said to him. Guys, we are talking a little bit about how far writing and voice acting has come in video games. It wasn't all that long ago, 1997, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yep.
When they were pulling people off of, whatever production desk they were sitting on to record in closets to say, what is a man? A miserable pile of secrets? Have at me. So that was 15 years ago. It wasn't all that long ago. We've come a long way. Now listen, I know we could go on and on celebrating your work in Batman Arkham Origins, and I have one more thing I want to ask you before we move on and just celebrate your career a little bit more, and that is, walk us through what it was like to go into the booth. Was Troy there with you, or would you guys work on separate days? And part two of the question is, did you ever wear the cowl? Go ahead.
No, I haven't worn the cowl, although these guys that do a lot of like the manufacturing of like the collector's edition Triforce,
those guys are amazing.
They have a cowl that I saw at New York Comic Con that's in development. And they've promised me a cowl, and I guarantee you when I get my hands on that, I'm going to be wearing that cowl.
That's your new Twitter avatar right there.
Yeah.
I would wear it
that
everywhere.
Being said, in the meantime, there's always Batman boxers, that have like the little cape attached to the back of them, that kind of thing. So, again, further ruining the character for everyone out there.
Do you have a cowl that you wear?
No comment.
Okay.
See?
While I play.
Know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm Batman.
But going into the booth.
Oh, in the booth. Actually, it kind of worked, I think, in a lot of ways that Troy and I, we really didn't record together too often. I think we had maybe one or two sessions, but he and I are also goofballs when we're around one another, and I think they quickly figured out that we weren't going to get a lot done if they put us in the same room together.
Right. Holmes was like, "No more of this shit."
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of like the hand fart sounds that keep going on in between takes, and
meanwhile piles of money are burning everywhere.
Who could make the better baby sounds? And then it like in between, because Troy does a muffled baby sound, I have the. And then it dies out at the end, and then Troy said, "Oh my gosh, it sounds like it's getting choked out." And then it became us having these competitions as to who could make the best choking baby sound. It's like, yeah. Christ. So picture that going on in a professional recording session, and then I think they eventually went, no, we're not going to have them together. But I did get to work. This was such a privilege for me, is getting to work a lot with Martin Jarvis, who did the voice for Alfred in this series. And that man is so classy and so cool and such an accomplished actor.
Is he British?
He is indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's old school, and it's neat. I mean, I don't want to give away his age, but I think he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, this is a guy who it puts you right at ease, and he's a very accomplished actor. And I was nervous to just kind of work with him. But what was nice about that is that in this story, so much of this developing relationship between Bruce Wayne and Alfred, and where they are and what they mean to one another and how they function together as a group kind of thing, or as a pair, I should say, that kind of lent itself to Martin and I working together.
Yeah,
and
he's like your surrogate dad, right? And he's berating you for big chunks of the game. It's amazing. I loved all that stuff.
You were not some hardcore, hardened vigilante, all that stuff. And we had a lot of really nice moments just getting to work together in that, and genuinely hit it off, as friends as a result. And so, that was great. I'm glad that we had that. I think if Troy and I had worked together too much as Batman and Joker, it almost would have maybe wouldn't have had the same sense of these are two very different characters who are very disconnected from one another, even though they're very similar. I think if we had worked together, maybe there wouldn't have been like some sort of weird energy that come through.
And that's what we need in the game too, because all of this stuff is new to Batman. That's one of my favorite things about this is that he meets Killer Croc and he can't believe he just beat up this giant crocodile man, and there's this sense of disbelief that this is now his new world with all of these freaks everywhere. So I think there should be more of that isolation, and that should come through in the performance, which sounds pretty cool. But you also had Captain America come out in the same week, and I don't know if there's too many voice actors in the biz that are playing two massive roles like that in the same week with Lego Marvel superheroes. How do you approach Cap differently than Batman?
It's really interesting. It was almost always everything boils down to an attitude more than a voice. The phrasing I've heard is it's 95% character, 5% voice, and usually that comes from as pretentious the terminology is to say, hey, what's your motivation?
Yeah.
But usually that's where the motivation of the character comes into play. And with Cap, working with Colette Sunderman, the voice director she didn't direct the video game, I should say, but we work with her on Marvel's Avengers Assemble, which is on Disney XD. And that's the animated series, which is, basically where we derived even the Lego, Marvel superheroes Cap from, with a little maybe looser interpretation. But she and I worked on Cap and what his delivery would be, and we came up with this sort of physicality of what we call fists on hips, which is that sort of heroic, Superman pose of a man with his fists at his side kind of thing. And since Cap is very much a Boy Scout and with that hardcore military background, we tend to just approach it. He's not square-jawed to where he's a stick in the mud, but he's just a little more, by the book. And let's enact a plan, and let's execute the plan, and let's stick to the rules and integrity and training and all that. So that's usually we just kind of keep him very much a sort of a barrel-chested, and he's a little more energetic and youthful, obviously, than what we do with Batman. Batman's dark. I work a lot in my lower register to do Batman, and it's funny when fans are like, do the voice at some loud convention, and you're like, I can't.
You won't even hear me.
Yeah, it's like all we can do is sort of all that stuff.
Batman's got some problems.
Yes, he does.
And his problems need to be reflected in the way he articulates things.
Absolutely. And he's just dark. He's the Dark Knight. So he's down there.
So,
Cap's a little more barrel-chested.
So obviously you've had lots of success in the voice acting realm. But let's talk about the rest of your career. What else are you working on? What have you worked on in the past that people might recognize you from?
Oh gosh, I mean, what's really funny is thankfully, and I knock on wood as I say this, I've had so many opportunities in the many different facets of voiceover that people kind of start cracking up when they realize, Batman was Ezio, was Chris Redfield, was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Chris Redfield.
Oh yeah, from RE5 and RE6.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's that guy doing the Wesker and Sheva and all that stuff. Oh, come on. That's all Chris seems to yell in RE5s. Hurry!
Yeah, Sheva always lagging back. Exactly. Come on, move it.
But and then from there, I've got I narrate a bunch of shows, and I narrate a bunch of shows on the DIY network. The Crashers shows, Yard Crashers, House Crashers, Bath Crashers, Kitchen Crashers. There was a Room Crashers. That's no longer on the air. But
how do the Crasher shows work? What's the narrative?
It's essentially, you've got like a host. You've got like either a designer, a licensed contractor, a landscape architect, that kind of thing. These guys, they stake out home improvement stores and they try to sneak up on somebody and ask them if they need help with some project at their house. And then the people have to, say like, yeah, go ahead. And they'll just, take this person home. And then they get a complete transformation of like one room or their yard. Like in 3 days, they get all of their family and friends together and they crash their house. And they go in and completely remodel either a bathroom, a kitchen, the backyard, the front yard, that kind of thing. And so it's a very high energy show with, lots of fast movement and camera cuts and all that. And so I've been the voice of that for going on, I think we're on our 11th season now for Yard Crashers.
That's awesome.
And then the flip side to all of that masculinity, not that Sonic the Hedgehog is an essentially overly masculine character, but is I narrate Say Yes to the Dress on TLC, which is
It loves that show.
And how does that go? What would the voice be for Say Yes to the Dress?
Yeah. It's very much just me, but what's funny about that is that it's a man narrating a show about women trying on bridal gowns at a salon in New York and Atlanta, and then awesome. I also dispense advice at the end of it, which is always really funny to me because it's always just something like, every bride dreams of her big day. And it's me saying, but if she stays true to her heart, and follows her dreams, she'll look marvelous on her special day. And it's like, I just feel so.
And then,
and
then on Wednesday, it's,
where is he?
Exactly. Every woman breathe.
Oh man, that's incredible. Do you mostly go up for hero roles when you go for auditions and stuff? It sounds like you play a lot of the lead hero types.
Not necessarily. In fact, the most the absolute ultimate dream come true for me was getting to be involved in Disney's Planes, where I got to be Rip Slinger.
Yeah.
He's the lead antagonist. He's the bad guy, and it's, I mean, he's like a blend of Batman and Chris Redfield and all of these characters sort of combined. And it was a ton of fun. I mean, playing the bad guys, I've always said it like, everybody loves Luke Skywalker, but who wouldn't want to be Darth Vader?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, they've always got the cool toys, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing that Troy is Booker and he's Joel, but he's the Joker in the same year,
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Troy is a different day. Troy's not today.
No, but also Nolan North
is
the Penguin in Batman Arkham Origins.
Yep,
and
exactly.
Do you look at that stuff and go, oh my God, I've got some supervillain voices in me. I want to do some crazy, I want to be the Red Skull for a day or something.
Ooh. We got Liam O'Brien doing the Red Skull on our on Avengers Assemble.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yes, Red Skull would be. I don't know. Like I was saying to Troy, even I'm like, the Joker is such a deliciously evil character, and it's like that is so much fun to portray. And this is one of the reasons why Troy does such a great job with it. You have to run that fine balance between your good guy is only as bad as your bad guy is bad. Or I think that was a little redundant, but and with a character like the Joker, there's a lot of room to play around with some of the silliness and the comedy of things, but you don't want it to get to the point where that guy loses his danger. And Troy does a phenomenal job with that. I mean, that's why those characters, in my opinion, are so much fun to play. The bad guys are the cool stuff. And the reality too, it's not as if I don't get to choose, and I'm fine not choosing. Every day behind a voiceover microphone is an awesome day, and you want me to be, a Smurf, I'll be a Smurf. You want me to be Red Skull, I'd be Red Skull. If I had an opportunity to do any of these things, it would be incredible.
So Roger, we're talking about your work a lot, but what about, let's get to know you a little bit better. What about when you're not working? What kind of things do you do?
I like long walks on the beach.
Mm-hmm. You sound like a Virgo, non-smoker.
Drunk spooning. Non-smoker.
I think there's a perfect match coming up on the show.
It's like, we're going to get male of 38.
Sweater shopping.
How's everybody doing out there? Sweater shopping.
Let's welcome to the show, Roger.
Bachelorette number 1. No, I'm kind of a boring. I really am just kind of a fuddy-duddy kind of homebody kind of guy. I'm not. TV. I like a good IPA beer. I'm a big fan of hoppy beer. Mm-hmm. Mountain biking is my sport of choice. I don't have enough time to do it as often as I would love to.
Are you working all the time?
Really, I mean, I just thankfully I am at a point in my life right now where the voiceover work is so important to me, but it's also keeping me busy. I'm 5 days a week with multiple sessions a day, and it's got me bopping, recording from home a lot, and then hopping in the car and racing out to another city and coming back home and recording from home, and then cracking open an IPA and watch a little TV, go to bed, and wake up and do it all again the next day. So it doesn't really... Sadly, I think I'd have to turn in my gamer card because... I feel like I'm losing time that should be spent playing video games.
6 months longer, you can keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it.
Okay, thank you.
If you play Batman, you get extensions. Do you go up for, in front of the camera roles too, or do you strictly stay? Voice.
Yeah, strictly voiceover. I mean, I got my start in voiceover by doing stand-up comedy. That was what kind of like introduced me into the world of voiceover, simply because I was hearing less and less and less about people asking me when I was going to be doing stand-up again, and more people saying, who represents you for voiceover? And so I went, okay, I need to look into that. I did a lot of like characters and voices in my act, and I think people kind of picked up on that. For the most part, I have no desire to do anything on camera. I love the world of voiceover. I love that theater of the mind. I love radio plays, and that's what we get to go in and do. And then I like being my major in college was screenwriting, so I wanted to be a part of a production team. And in a lot of ways, I feel I get a really fun job of being a part of a production team, which is I get to provide the voice for these characters that a lot of people have put time into animating and writing for and making backgrounds for and everything that goes into it. There's so many people that make these characters who they are. And in the on-camera world, I don't think you get to do that in the exact same way.
You don't get the freedoms, yeah. And what we do on this show and on our TV shows and stuff is very, I think, aspirational for a lot of people. We talk to a lot of people that chase dreams and then make dreams kind of reality. And it sounds like that's what you have done here. But also, what I think is also very clear is that you have to be open to lots of changes along the path, and
for sure,
and also open to immense collaboration. And I think that's what starts to sort of pave the road towards success.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of people have asked, like, how did you come up with the voice, or when you walked in, or how did you get this role, or what did you? And it's so funny because you walk in and like I said with Eric there, I just went, what do we want to do? I mean, I've passed the audition test, and for whatever reason, you guys have given me this opportunity. So then, what is it that we want to accomplish here? And you've got to be able to just like throw stuff against a wall and accept, I mean, tremendous amounts of feedback, and adapt and move on. And it's thankfully, I think stand-up comedy, because that's all that is, nightly with different audiences. You go up, you try a joke. And if it works one time when you worded it this way, you try it again another way and find out it didn't work. But you don't just stop doing it simply because that audience didn't like it or that kind of thing. You keep going, keep falling forward. And voiceover and the approach in the booth is no different. And I never give a second thought to people redirecting, asking for more, try it like this, try it like that, or hey, I've been in sessions that said, I think I'm the wrong guy for this. Like you might want to get so-and-so if this is what you want to accomplish, because there's a right and a wrong voice for a lot of things. And if you want to be genuine to what you're doing, then it's like, sometimes you got to, step away. But no, I mean, we don't get to go in and say, well, here's the voice of Batman that I'm going to give to you, and it's going to be brilliant, and therefore you'll take it. It's like, no, you are a part of a team, and collaboratively, everybody comes up with, these characters. You just get to be the voice. You're a tool that the director gets to kind of wield, and I love that. That's I absolutely have achieved that sort of, I cannot believe I get to do this and call it my living. It's nuts.
Roger, I think that I speak for Victor Lucas and myself when I say you sound like a very sweet man.
Yeah.
And I wish that I had the chance to meet you in person. I know Vic has had that chance, and
he's awesome.
It'll happen someday.
Yep.
We'll be together.
I think Vic saw me when it was a deer in the headlights at San Diego Comic-Con, and
you weren't in New York, though, were you?
Yeah,
I was in New York. Yeah. But again, I mean, I'm telling you, man, it was just brief and boom, in and out.
Oh, I think I did see you in New York. You were standing next to Troy at one point. I talked to Eric a little bit here and there, and I waved to Troy because I'd met him before, but he didn't remember who the hell I was.
Uh-oh.
And he's like a star and everything. Yeah, I think I saw you.
Yep.
I think we saw each other.
I would have been a short guy.
Yeah.
next to
I remember a shorter gentleman.
There you go.
Virgo.
Yeah. The sweetness is all an act. I think, like I said, I was laughing. I didn't get a chance to see that auditorium at San Diego until we stepped out onto the stage, and it was surreal. Like, whoa!
And I got to moderate that panel, and it was
awesome.
What a moment,
dude! I mean, honestly, it's one of my favorite moments in my career. It was an incredible experience, and working
so cool.
and working with you guys too was just insane. You guys were so funny and so sharp, and I'm so happy for you and proud of the work that you've done, and proud to have been, even around the, getting some of the word out about Arkham Origins. But now, it's the 75th anniversary of Batman next year.
Yep.
And Batman video games aren't going anywhere. Dude, you are our new Batman.
Well, for Arkham Origins. It's like
Frank Conroy is going to come back.
No,
probably.
it's Kevin Conroy.
Carl Conroy.
I think my prediction is you are our new Batman, and you might be our new Batman for many, many years. Are you okay with that, Roger?
From your lips to the powers that be's ears, I mean, of course, I would jump at the chance for any other opportunity, but I've always...
So
absolutely.
You don't want to confess or confirm anything today that you have signed on a multi-Arkham deal with.
There's nothing to confess or confirm, unfortunately, that I'm aware of, and they're very smart about that. I mean, if there is something in the works, but again, I would be the last to know. And
I don't know if you'd be the last to know.
Well,
that would be terrible.
That
if
would
you
be
were.
us.
Towards the tail end, I should say.
We would be at the last.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I mean, again, you have to look at it. I never would have thought that Ezio would have gone on for 3 games.
Yeah.
I would have thought that at AC2 he had his run, and
dude,
getting a chance to be an iconic character.
He's our favorite
awesome.
assassin as well, man. I mean, you really did a phenomenal job with Ezio.
Thanks, man. That was fun. That was I don't know, guys. I mean, I can't. Like I said earlier, like you put the name Batman beneath your signature, and you just go, that I can't.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem so. It's so incredible. So to have another opportunity would be insane. But even if there isn't another opportunity in my future, it's like, man, I did it. I got to do it. And
humble.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well,
yep.
I mean, that's voiceover. It's like I said, I'm a part of a team. There's far more creative. Eric Holmes, man. Like I kept sitting there going, dude, when are you going to just collapse?
Yeah.
From
totally.
the marketing push and the promos, and he was on when I ran into him in New York. He had been 38 days on the road, and he was on Australia time when he was in New York. And then, it's just like the guy was, but yet you put a camera in his face and ask him questions that he's probably had to answer 1,000 times.
Yep.
And it's the same amount of passion.
He's a beast.
Well, he's the right guy for the job. He's the Batman of making Batman games,
Absolutely.
Like,
that's why to get to go meet those people. And I go in for 4 hours at a time and just bark in front of a microphone and say, "What do you want me to do? I'll tap dance for you. Sure thing." and then they take it and they put it into the character. I mean, that's why it's not humility; it's just reality.
Whatever it is, it's a real pleasure to be able to include you in the basement here,
we're
man.
huge fans.
Thanks,
You're always
fans.
welcome down here.
Huge fans. Yes, we'll definitely have you back. And
You are going to do something about the smell, though, right?
Nope, that's staying. We like it.
We
it's
might
mildewy, chilly.
We might chop a hole in the wall to get some air in here.
We call it pumpkin spice stench.
It's thick.
It's autumnal. Yes, it's lovely.
It's autumnal, yeah. Roger, you rock,
so
man.
much, buddy.
Thank you for coming by, and congratulations on an epic year, and can't wait to see what 2014 has in store for you.
Now go have an IPA.
Thanks, man. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Take care. See ya.
What a totally incredible, genuine, awesome guy that was.
Nice man. He's the kind of man I would like to have over for dinner.
Well, we would have one of the beers that he was talking about there.
Well, I wouldn't, but maybe you would. But I'm surprised how thoughtful and soulful and playful he is. Like he
and
sounds
humble
like
and
a lot
appreciative.
Of fun. A lot of fun. The phrase I was trying to think of there is not pull some honeys, it's pulling some birds. It's an English
pull some
expression.
birds. Okay.
Yeah, and I miss. But we're going to use that in the basement.
That is our
recording.
Our new, voice recording. So if you ever call us, you're going to have Batman talking back at you. Because we don't answer the phones around here.
Every time we have one of these people on here, it's a revelation.
It's
I just can't believe how nice and just gracious and graceful these people are.
Yep.
And he's another one. And I know we talked about this, but Troy Baker gets a lot of love from the game. Roger Craig Smith as Batman does a tremendous job.
Totally. He's a chameleon. These voice actors.
He is. I don't know how he does it. Like the way he was switching voices during our interview blows me away. I have no talent compared to this man. He is incredible.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I want to play some more Batman Arkham Origins right now.
Start all over again?
Yeah, I
do. Get the New Game Plus?
Absolutely.
All right, my
With
friend.
some of the new costumes.
What about the PlayStation 4? Would you like to say a word or two about it before we leave?
I'm so excited that the PlayStation 4 has finally arrived, and it comes out next week for everybody on November 15th.
November 15th. You know what? We're going to be in New York. Let's get some surprise guests in the basement next week. The next basement, we're going to have access to a lot of people.
The next basement is going next gen.
Oh, I like that.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Stitcher.
Stitcher.